online courses that I was always a little bit frustrated with is not having any sort of interaction with the professor, so I tried to offset that a little bit with some videos, and this is the main one. It's a review of the course syllabus to help set expectations, level set what you have to have done, introduce you to myself, go through the syllabus, etc. So that's what we're going to do. That was one of the biggest value adds at the beginning of classes, and some of these online classes don't have that, so I thought I would supplement it this way. Okay, so we'll just run through it line item. My name is Andrew Sherwood. I run a traditional 8 to 5 sort of job, so my weekday availability is limited, but I do get to answer emails and take phone calls every once in a while. So you can call that cell phone number there, 402-630-6080, or send to that email address, and I'll respond as I'm able to, sometimes during the day, but most of the time in the evening and weekends. So for our textbook, we are using William Stevenson's Operation Management with the Connect piece. So that's a big call out. Sometimes people have bought it without. Any of those combinations work, but you do want to make sure you have access to Connect. And when you get your access to Connect, be sure to use your Peru State email address, and you'll want to access Connect through Blackboard. You don't want to go to the Connect website. You want to access through Blackboard, and it's the easiest way to make sure they get linked together correctly. I'm sure there'll be a couple of hang-ups, but usually we get that figured out pretty easily. So you'll get the Stevenson's text with the Connect package. Required software is just simply Microsoft Office. We don't have anything beyond that, and the Connect package. That is the URL for Connect there, but as I said again, you'll want to usually access it through Blackboard, and you don't want to necessarily use that URL. Prereqs, I believe these are the prereqs that everyone should have done before taking this class. And give you a big picture of what we're looking for here. Wide variety of production operations management topics. This is one of the broadest classes that you'll have in a business program because you cover so many topics, but just a little bit for each. Examples being competitiveness, product design, process selection, quality management, capacity management, JIT, facility location, layout, all these types of things we're going to cover. We'll cover, but only a little bit of it. So nothing, we don't get too deep on any topic, but we do touch on a lot of topics. So for this class, I need you to be able to participate in upon completion of the class, you should be able to actively participate in the production planning process, understand the tools, take a socio-technical approach to managing operation decisions. So that's just understanding what software does what. Develop appropriate production and capacity strategies for product and service. Understand the nature and importance of quality management practices. So this course, because of how broad it is, I really just hope you have a good understanding of each of the topics. Nothing major, just understand a little bit about what each of them means so you can use them in real life. Alright, classes are online discussions, material presented throughout the course, and Connect, video recordings such as this, short papers, and quizzes. The discussion board, I certainly encourage active participation in that. There is some specific requirements, but above and beyond that, I hope there's some active participation. I very much want to, as hopefully this video suggests, run a very engaging course. So please do reach out to me with questions, concerns, etc. I'm very quick at responding. It's very rare that you don't get a response the same business day. Oftentimes it's earlier than that. Oh, this was a to-do for me, need new intro video. That's what I'm doing now. Okay, so that's a little bit about the course. Let's go through some of the assignments, what's going to be expected of you. As noted, we have weekly reading assignments, discussion board, quizzes. We're going to use Connect for the math, and all weekly work is due Sunday at midnight, except for the final, and that's due Thursday at midnight. Late coursework is generally not accepted. So I will help you out a lot before the late date. If you have questions on how an assignment works, if you want to resubmit something because you didn't understand, you made a mistake, I'm usually okay with that. I'll reach out for certain circumstances, but I'm usually okay with a lot of support up until the due date. We're running an 8-week course, so this is going to be very fast, and trying to cram things into multiple weeks is not going to work very well. So that due date is one thing that I am pretty much a stickler on. Quizzes you can't take after the due date, even a matter of a couple hours, turning in the papers, etc. The due date Sunday at midnight is pretty cut and dry. It's hard. It's a hard deadline. So for the discussion boards, I have a video that talks about them in a little more detail here. I actually have that for a couple things. The discussion boards you need to post on by Thursday. Most of the time your posts are going to, you only have to have one post on one topic that relates to the week. We cover a couple chapters in most weeks. So one topic on anything that relates to the week. There's good description within the discussion board on what you need to post on, but it's only one topic. One of the things I actively encourage is to pick a topic that you have a little bit of personal knowledge or experience on to share. That's the biggest value you can provide in the discussion board, is sharing how a topic that we're reading about or studying on relates to an experience that you've gone through. That's the number one thing that I'm looking for. If you don't have any experience with it though, no worries. Find an outside source that relates to one part of the topic for the week and write on that. It's fine. Generally, you're going to want about 200 words for your initial post. Not that I care about a word count. I just look to make sure that you covered it with enough depth and detail. And it usually seems to take about that much. If you're a little more consistent, that works fine as long as you cover the topic with really good detail. And then 2 peer replies by Sunday at midnight. So your initial post is by Thursday at midnight, and your 2 peer replies are by Sunday at midnight. There's a specific video on a little more on the discussion board, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. 8 discussion board, 10 points apiece for a total of 80 points. So the next piece to look at is quizzes. We have 17 chapter quizzes at 15 points apiece. I hope I did my math right. I'm second guessing myself. Yeah, so that's 255 points of the course points. You get 60 minutes. It's just 15 questions. They're certainly open book. I don't expect you to have everything learned that fast, memorized. So it's open book, but these again due at midnight, and you won't even have access to them after the due date. It'll go straight to a 0. So I encourage you to make sure to take those in advance. You can use your text. There's going to be some videos. McGraw-Hill has some good resources you can use. So make sure to take that quiz in advance of the due date. 17 of them, one for each chapter. There are 2 short papers due in this course. Both of them follow the exact same structure and are extremely comparable in how they are set up. One is on Six Sigma and one is on PMI. I have videos for both of those. The dates may be wrong, but the papers are still fine. The video on how to go through both papers. Six Sigma is an approach to quality management. The paper really focuses on the DMAIC method. PMI is an organization that helps with project management, and the paper really focuses on their steps, or their phases, if you will, their steps through how to manage a project. So those 2 videos I encourage you to watch when you start working on those papers. And those papers, oh, I'm sorry, like I said, the due dates are wrong in the video because it's from a past one, but I don't want to redo all of my videos. So those 2 papers are 50 points apiece. They're due the Six Sigma paper is earlier in the class and the PMI paper is later in the class. And here's the connect piece. Quantitative problems, with the exception of chapter 1, every chapter has a short math assignment to it. The math is not a focus of the course, but I want you to at least understand what some of the math involved is. So with that, there's just a couple of questions, literally 1 to 3 questions that you'll have to answer through Connect. And that should feed directly to your gradebook. With these, I don't care how many tries it takes you. So I have it set up for unlimited. I just need you to understand the math. Most of this math is done software-wise nowadays, so it's not really that important that you're able to do it so much as you understand the concept. and that's why I have very limited account of questions. So those, like the quizzes, those are due Sunday night, and I generally don't take them late at all. That's something that feeds through to the grade book. It's an easy way to guarantee yourself points because the questions, like I said, you can take an unlimited amount of attempts. So that unlimited amount of attempts aspect makes it very easy to get all of those points. And lastly, a cumulative final. The cumulative final is broken into two sections. There is a practice test that is 30 points and 30 questions, and there is the traditional final that is 70 points and 70 questions. Point of question. The practice test you get unlimited submissions for. So you get to see all the questions and understand what's going to be expected of you and run through that test as many times as you want to prepare for the final. I like that as a way to level set expectations, as a way for you to use as a study guide, and as a way to make sure that you get all of the points. I've got a lot of good feedback on that, so most students seem to really enjoy that attempt. That approach, sorry. So 30 points for the practice test, you get unlimited attempts, and then there's the traditional final. 70 points, 70 questions. Please do keep in mind that the final and the practice test are due earlier in the week than normal. It's not on Sunday, it's like Thursday. It might be Friday, but I think it's Thursday. And you have to have those submitted by then. Obviously, missing that's going to make passing difficult. So, points breakdown. Those total to 615 points. Those components, the discussion board, the quizzes, the two short papers, the math, and then the final totals to 615. And this is a breakdown of what point count will get you what score. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Most students in my classes get A's and B's. It's pretty rare that I'm giving anything other than A's and B's, but that's based on the idea that you're putting in some effort. All right, moving through to the late work policy. Like I mentioned, I generally don't take late work, especially when we're looking at an abridged class for length of time. There's just not time. You can't get behind. We have 8 weeks to get through a lot. So if you try to turn in something late, I'm not going to accept it. If you have some sort of emergency that's going to be valid, you got to tell me in advance. And that's one of the reasons that things aren't really accepted late, because you have the whole week. So I would suggest never doing all of your homework at the end of the day Sunday, because then what if something comes up and then I'm not able to accept it because you didn't submit it and you could have done it earlier in the week. So I strongly suggest always giving yourself a buffer, whether you do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever the case may be, but don't wait to do all your stuff Sunday night, because then if something comes up, you're in trouble. There's no real way to account for it. Okay, that's probably enough on that. Incomplete is pretty rare as a topic. Usually it's only applicable if you have some sort of major health issue in the second half of the course, or if you have something of that nature. But that's an individual sort of basis. So please reach out to me in the event that becomes applicable. Academic integrity. Every term I have a couple people that have an issue with this, and every term I try to avoid it becoming an issue. Don't plagiarize. I don't grade so stringently that it's worth trying to cheat so much as just showing me that you kind of understand it this much. Honestly, if you try a little bit and put forth honest effort and show that you understand the topic a little bit, you're going to do fine. It's not worth cheating, because I don't grade that nitpicky. But I do have a major issue with if there's an integrity issue as far as plagiarizing. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of people call it plagiarizing when you poorly cite. I'm not a stickler on format, because quite frankly, once you graduate, nobody cares about APA. Nobody in the world cares about APA. So I want you to do APA, but I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire on whether you did APA correctly. That being said, you do have to cite. If you cite incorrectly, but you still cite, it's not plagiarism for this course. Other courses may be different, But for this course, I care that you just cited the work and gave proper credit where credit is due. But if you cite poorly, that's not really an issue. Just making sure, and by poorly, I mean use the year instead of the author's name, or have them backwards, or your bibliography is not formatted in the right way, etc. I'm not a stickler on that, but I do want you to attempt towards the APA and make sure not to use a source that's not cited. This is one I want to call out. I do run these database checks, so when you turn in a paper, it runs through a checker for me. And I, of course, use Google. Google works so well when something seems out of place. Just Google sentences, and I can always find the same things that you found. So don't do it, please. I've had to deal with it every term I've been here, at least once. So I would greatly appreciate this being the first term that I don't have to. Oh, this is one thing I want to call out, the proof of intent. Even if you cheated on accident, or you didn't think it was cheating or something of that nature, if you're copying source information from someone without giving credit, then it's an issue, whether you intended to or not. Title IX, I don't discriminate, so it's not really an issue. And here's the schedule. Here's where we get into the real meat and potatoes. During week 1, and these dates may not be applicable because I'm going to use this recording for hopefully for subsequent terms, but the cadence should still be the same. So week 1 is chapter 1 and 2. Get you onboarded, get you through the first 2 chapters. First chapter doesn't have math, but the second one does. So I've got them all organized pretty well, so you should be able to follow along well. First chapter is Introduction and Competitive Strategy and Productivity. They both have a short quiz. Only chapter 2 has math questions, and then your discussion board. That's it for week 1. Week 2 becomes a little bit harder because we're in an 8-week course, so it has a lot of content to get through in 8 weeks. For week 2, you need chapters 3, 4, and 5, and that's forecasting, product and service design, and strategic capacity planning for products and services. And all 3 of these do have quizzes, math questions, and then, like I said, just 1 discussion board post on the week. Week 3, same thing. We have 3 chapters: process selection and facility layout, work design and measurement, and location planning analysis. And each one of those has a quiz and math questions. This is also when we assign the Six Sigma paper, and the Six Sigma paper has its own video to review for a little bit of details. Trust the dates within the syllabus, as that Six Sigma paper is reused from a couple different courses. So the dates that are in the syllabus are accurate. It's assigned on 6/20, but not due till 7/3. We get into week 4, and because that assignment is due during week 4, I want to drop back down to 2 chapters where you'll have management of quality and quality control, and those of course go really well together. So week 4 is quality, and they align with the Six Sigma paper, as a lot of the Six Sigma projects are quality driven. And you'll have quizzes and math questions for both of those chapters, and a discussion board post, and the discussion board post and the Six Sigma paper is assigned, or is due, sorry. So that takes us to week 5, already over halfway through the course. Week 5, back to 3 chapters, and that is aggregate planning and scheduling, MRP, ERP, and inventory management. So those 3 chapters, same cadence. The 3 chapters have a quiz and a math questions, quiz, math questions, quiz, math questions, and 1 discussion board post on any topic that's applicable to those 3 chapters. Week 6, we get into JIT and Lean and supply chain management. Those things go hand in hand, so that works. And same cadence for the chapters. They have a quiz and math, quiz and math, quiz and math. And this is where the PMI paper is assigned. Once again, the video aligns very well with how to do it. The video dates may be off, and if so, then just use the dates from the syllabus. The PMI paper and the Six Sigma paper, I want to call out that they follow the exact same structure. So you'll want to set them up the same and run through it the same and have the same line of thought for both. They're set up very similar. and that is assigned on 7/11, but not due till 7/24. So that takes us to the next week, where once again, because the paper is due, it's only 2 chapters, and that's scheduling and project management, and those actually go hand in hand pretty well as well. Same things due for those chapters: quiz and math questions, and then the PMI paper is due on. That needs to be updated. PMI paper is due on assigned on 7/11, due 7/24. Okay, I have that right. Never mind, sorry. And week 8 is the final. I want to call out that week 8 is shortened, so it's not, you don't have the weekend. It's due during the week, 7/29. It's either Thursday or Friday. So that's the course. As I mentioned, I'm extremely engaging, so please, please, please reach out to me. I take telephone calls all the time. I take emails. I want to interact with you, so I make these videos. I am active in the discussion board. I don't post to all, but I post to many, many in the discussion board. I'm quick to respond with replies on emails, quick to try to turn around for grades. Syllabus here should be considered, if there's ever a conflict in information, the syllabus is the proper source. Again, I try not to accept late paperwork, late assignments, so that's one of the only places where I am kind of a stickler, and that's just because of the compressed nature of the course. It makes it very difficult for you and I both if we are trying to do things behind. So just keep up. Any other questions, please reach out to me. I look forward to a great term. Thank you very much.